Welcome to the Royale Room, the official podcast of Fantasy Royale, the newest and best free-to-play sports contest platform. Check out all of our contests at fantasyroyale.fun. I am your host, Austin Eckler, along with my co-host, Riley, and producer, Chloe, in the background. Looking forward to another great episode. Riley, what's been going on, man?
We got a lot of interesting stuff, that went over the weekend last week and then into this week. A lot of different sports things. You got the NFL draft coming up. You got NHL and NBA playoffs going on. And there's some other stuff. But
talk about other stuff. I think it's important to highlight that you got some stuff too. Finals. Riley's almost graduated. Riley, he's a young buck. He's a young one out there. Got his last final today. How are we feeling about the final?
Easy as can be. That's how I'm feeling.
Yeah, all A's or what?
Something like that.
Okay. I think my GPA was a 3.1 in college. You beat me or no?
You definitely showed up to classes. We can see that.
Let's go. Anyway, back to the real stuff. What do we got today? Where are we starting?
We're going to start here with the NHL and NBA playoffs. Yeah. So I don't know how much you've been keeping up with that. I was fortunate enough to go to Game 1 of the Flyers and Penguins series this Saturday, or last Saturday rather, but it was pretty electric out there. I drove 8 hours out to Pittsburgh and got to see some real hostility towards me and my brother. My brother's a Flyers fan, so I was wearing orange to support, got a lot of looks and a lot of words thrown at me that I'll not be able to repeat here, but yeah.
Good old competition. What kind of fan are you? Are you one that's like shirt off, waving it in the air, talking trash, chugging beer? Like, are you in there like going crazy, or are you kind of more mellow? You sit down the whole game. Where are you on the spectrum?
I think it depends. I think maybe for my team, I do this. They're not my team. I was just going there as a supportive brother. But I think you could see me with a shirt off if you get a few beers from me.
Okay. I want to see that side. I want to see that side of Riley on the podcast at some point.
Yeah, that's not happening here. That you gotta.
Oh, come on. We'll get it. We'll get it out of you eventually. We'll find something you're super passionate about.
Maybe taking my shirt off isn't one of them. I'll just put that.
Doing a podcast with the shirt off. We'll have a bet sometime down the road here. That'll be the winner. Or I guess that should be the winner. The winner gets to that's the loser side. Never mind. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a winner for you.
I can't stand going to like football games because so many couch coaches like, oh, they got to do this, they got to do that. And I just am like, oh my God, you guys have no idea what you're talking about. Me as a fan, I am definitely pretty quiet, like more so just looking at, if I'm watching football, I'm like watching the defensive line and watching O-line, watching the running backs, things like that. So it's just a different viewing experience when you're an actual player as opposed to just a fan who just raw emotion. As a player, you can't have emotion. It can only come out in certain moments, because you gotta be locked in. So glad you are on the full commitment to the fan side, letting the shirt fly, cheering, talking trash. Love it. Because that makes the experience, I feel like, as a fan.
Yeah, you get into it, you feel like you're part of the team after that.
For sure. But I have not been watching any of the NHL playoffs. I've seen some highlights of the NBA playoffs, though. I've seen LeBron James doing his thing out there, just taking over. Crazy, man. Is he the greatest of all time? I feel like it's hard to compete. At this point. He's still going.
I'm from Chicago. You're never going to hear me say anybody else but MJ. There's not a chance, man.
At what point is enough? The man is still playing, is still at the highest level, and still carrying his team.
There'll never be a point. Ever.
Yeah. See, that's pride right there for you, ladies and gentlemen. That's just like, know what? I don't care. 2 + 2 is equal to 3. That's what that is right there. There's no way that you can be convinced that anyone else would be better than Michael Jordan, huh?
The proof is...
Right. Fair enough. Hey, way to stay true to your
6 out of 6. But I need your opinion on this. So what is your opinion on kind of what teams wear in the playoffs? Kind of like the fans and then what the actual players wearing. You had different alternate jerseys with the Chargers and the Commanders. What do you think about for a playoff game wearing alternate jersey? That's a big discussion where people feel like it should be just home and just away, or whipping out the alternates for a playoff game.
If the jersey's fire, let it roll. Let it roll if it's fire. Like with the Commanders, we have our alternate jerseys. It's all black with like yellow seams, and they look sick. So if we're running that in a playoff game, like dope, let's run it. That's my opinion. It's all about the looks, right? Like, if it's playoffs, you want to look good, feel good. If our alternate jerseys are fire, let's let them rip.
Yeah. I'm usually more traditional. I think, you should wear your home and away. You're not wearing alternates in the playoffs. I feel like the playoffs is strictly for that. But I will say what the Spurs had going on the other night. We got the image here with the crowd and the t-shirts they're giving away. So the crowd all looks with the orange, the kind of magenta,
Yeah,
and the
I'm looking at it right
blue.
now.
That's kind of cool. It kind of swayed me the other way. I'm like, that's cool, you know.
I feel like that helps you as a fan, like feel like you're more part of it. Like you are in there, like they're wearing the jerseys that match you, and it's like, hey, this is like a collective, like, hey, we're all in this together kind of environment. So yeah, shout out to the Spurs for getting creative. I wish more organizations would be creative. I think it's tough to actually coordinate that with everyone. So shout out to their team for actually putting that all together and making it happen. But I think little things like that are what make, again, that fan experience even better. So hey, if we can see that more, I am definitely I'm voting for that. Let's do it.
Yeah, a lot of teams have kind of switched over, not even switched over. It's been a while now with giving out the free T-shirts during the playoffs, and then the free rally towels too that they give out as well. Yeah, kind of branching off that. You know what? For me, this is my hot take. I think easily, and I really got to experience it the other day. I think the best atmosphere in all of sports for the playoffs is the NHL. Just how loud it gets in there, how rowdy the fans are, how hostile it is. I think it's easily the NHL. I think the MLB is a close second, but I think it's NHL, MLB, huge gap, NFL, another huge gap,
Whoa,
NBA.
whoa, 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 whoa. Huge gap? Come on,
Yes!
man. How is it a huge? Here's my thing. Open stadium, right? Night game, Thursday night football, Monday night football, Sunday night football, fireworks, the flyover, right? The light shows, under the lights, football. It don't get much better than that, man. Obviously, I'm biased because it's the sport I play, but it's obviously the most popular sport in America anyway. I'm going to have to back up on the big gap. There's no way it's a big gap. It's going to be who you ask. I would say it's football, and then, NHL, I would say number 2 because it's another fast-paced game. I don't know how hype baseball's getting. You got to sit around. I'm not the biggest baseball fan. It's just kind of boring for me. So I would say I would put that number 3.
You got to experience it, man. You got to go in there. Going into that playoff hockey and playoff baseball, it gets rowdy in there, man.
You've got recency bias, though, because you were just there. So you're, still coming off the high of the game and everything like that. Man, I remember we went to, where we go? We were Buccaneers 2 years ago, Commanders-Buccaneers game, under the lights. Unbelievable atmosphere. Everyone loud the entire game. Cannot hear as a player. I couldn't hear it. You can't hear a thing. Good thing we run no huddle because I'm out here. We're talking in sign language. It's just one of those things where third down moments, fourth down moments. It's so loud you can't even hear yourself think. It is just like a vibration throughout the entire stadium. And then we go to the Lions, same thing. We go to the Lions game, put the whooping on them that game, and it was another one where it was actually the reverse. We shut the stadium out. It was quiet a lot of the game, but a lot of good moments there. But I can see how just in general, professional sports playoffs is going to be an electric moment that everyone should hopefully experience once in their life if you're a sports fan, regardless of the sport that you're a fan of.
Yeah, it was a cool experience. I feel like the added rivalry aspect you get when you're playing a 7-game series just adds even more on it, where you get a little chippy in that first game, and by the 4th game, you hate them. So, I feel like...
Well, that's why the NFL, I think, is the best environment. This is do or die, right now or never. So give me everything you got as a fan. You better be going home with no voice, in a ripped shirt, something like that.
No, I get it. I get it. So, yeah, 2 pretty big trades happened in the NFL this past week. We got Dexter Lawrence heading to the Bengals for the 10th overall pick, and then it seems like the reports are happening that A.J. Brown's heading to the Patriots in June. So, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think, we see this every single year. There's big trades that happen, and I kind of relate the trading game to the dating game. It's like going through the honeymoon stage. When you first get on a team for a few years, you're feeling good, right? Everyone's on their best behavior. Then all of a sudden, they're not loving you the same anymore. The money's not where you want it to be, or, the relationship, the chemistry, right? They start to show their true colors. You might find some demons in the closet on either side. And it's just you know what? Maybe we aren't the best fit. And that's what the trading game is. It's, hey, there's a situation that comes up, whether it's on the team side or the player side, that is maybe not as it seemed in the past or has changed, and someone wants to make a change. And as an organization, you don't want players that don't want to play for you. And as a player, you don't want an organization that doesn't want you on the team. So it's in the best interest to move on and hopefully find some equal value out there in the market that you can kind of, replace with whoever you're going to trade. So And I don't know if you've ever gone through any of those situations in your life. You go through that honeymoon stage, and it's like we can get into Riley's dating life later. But
We don't need
it's
to
very,
tap
very
on
comparable.
that. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, those were two guys that basically asked to be traded. They didn't want to be there anymore. And, you had a bit of that when you were with the Chargers, too. You asked for a trade.
I did. So my scenario was I had just come off one of my best years, if not my best year that I had. And I was going into my last year of my contract. And, what's the saying? Strike while the iron's hot. Well, the iron was hot for me. Just came off, my second year in a row leading the NFL in touchdowns, like 1,500 all-purpose yards, right? Making sure we're moving the ball down the field. So, hey, I'm looking for my third contract. I think I was 27 or 28 at the time. So still in that prime time. And then, went to the team, hey, let's get something done, right? I want to be here. I want to be here forever. I've already been here for, I think, 6 years at that time. Want to be a Charger forever. And then, there wasn't a mutual feeling in the organization. Like that's what I was saying, before. It happens. So, hey, they allowed me to go look for a trade, and they said, hey, if you have someone else that wants to offer you and trade for you, then go ahead. My scenario, though, was interesting because they didn't want to pay me, right? They were like, no, we don't want to extend you, but we're going to want a first-round pick for you if you go get traded. So this is a leverage game, right? So they have all the leverage. So basically they're basically telling me to F off. No, we're not going to trade you. And then good luck getting a first-round pick for yourself as a running back in year 6, So for me, I was basically stuck. No hard feelings. Played my last year there. Unfortunately, had a high ankle sprain the first game of the year and ended up missing 4 games, and it kind of just lingered throughout the rest of the season, and I didn't have my best season. And then this is exactly why I was trying to get extension, because guess what? If you get hurt, it can affect your grades, right? And so me coming out of that last year, I was definitely affected by that high ankle sprain, and then went back into free agency and ended up signing with the Commanders, and then had my most efficient year there. So it's the game, right? You play the game within the game. That trading game is something that you use when you can, and hopefully you can get yourself in a better position if you're not happy in the one that you're in.
No, definitely. And then, I mean, moving to a new team just seems so crazy. I mean, just especially getting traded, you're not planning for it at all sometimes. And you're like, okay, now I'm moving here. I got to be ready. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a new energy. When you go to a new team, it gives you a new kind of like fresh feeling. Let's go back to the dating scenario, right? You just got a new girlfriend, new boyfriend, new partner, whatever it is. Like there's that fresh, honeymoon feeling. You're making sure you're proving yourself. You're on top of everything. You're getting to know the other person more. So there's a lot more questions and things like that. That's what it is when you get on a new team. Like you're kind of filling out, hey, how's the environment? How's the coaching? What's the culture here? And everything's kind of like clicking because you're trying to make sure you can establish yourself and earn the respect that you feel you deserve in the organization. And so that's what it is on a new team. It's just up and move your family across the nation, which isn't always the easiest thing. But it's good to be around new energy, I think. As a younger player coming out of college, you are so used to the culture of being loyal to that one team. You get to the NFL, it's a total different story, right? It's whatever team wants to have you on their team is the one that you're most thankful for. You just want to be in the league. And it takes moving a team to figure that out, because once you go through one scenario where your contract isn't what you want it to be and you have to go move and you go to a place where it is where you want it to be, you're like, oh, who am I loyal to now? Like you're loyal to the game. You're loyal to the opportunity to continue to play, and hopefully in a place that is paying you appropriately, and then you're able to get your opportunity appropriately. So that new energy, I think it's a good thing. I didn't realize it though until I left and went to the Commanders.
Yeah, it's got to be so different, changing and stuff. Like you said about college, it's different, that transition too. We got our running back coming up that we're probably going to see some good value added to the running back group and circle with Jeremiah Love. I mean, this is a guy that's probably going to go. There's been talks of people trading up to 2 or him getting drafted at number 3, which would be the highest since Saquon Barkley went at 2 almost a decade ago. So it's crazy, the value kind of almost seems like it's been restored a little bit. It kind of has the ups and downs, but it feels like running backs have just been so undervalued over the past few years.
Well, I think as running backs, we have to earn the value, right? So if you're a dynamic player and you're an elite dynamic player, you should be compensated as that. And it's not saying that all running backs are that, but the ones that are, I expect to see the value within that. And so if this kid's an elite player coming out, That's why you're going to see people trading up to get him, because elite talent is elite talent, regardless of the position. And what do we want as a team? We want to have elite talent on our team. So if this guy's a generational talent and someone believes that, they're going to move. They're going to make a move to go up and get him. That's how I see it, right? Regardless of the position. This just so happens to be the running back position. And, we can see, especially across the board, this is something that I would love to see. I don't ever think this would happen, but even just shorter contracts for rookies coming out, especially running backs. Like, we would 100% benefit from that, because if you're drafted, you're locked for 4 years. Running backs, like, our prime is usually at the beginning of our career. And that's just what it is, right? Because of the injuries, they pile up over time. Not saying you can't be productive. There's a lot of running backs that have continued to have great years, past their early years. But I think we could get the value that we deserve quicker, because a lot of our impact comes from early in our time. That's one thing I would love to see. And so we'll see how this kid plays out, regardless of where he ends up. I'm always rooting for the RBs, always looking for them to continue to make impacts, because I got to see the boys getting paid. And so the biggest way to shut up people about the value of the running backs is for us as running backs to go out in there and show that, dang, like, I'm glad we got this guy on our team, because if you can do that, then there's no arguing.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, what it is, kind of being that receiving and running threat. Guys like Jameer Gibbs and Bijan Robinson, I mean, those are guys that are doing a lot of their team's receiving work too, but then they're not seeing that value when it comes to contracts and stuff as a wide receiver might, just how the disproportionate just between running backs and wide receiver contracts are.
So actually, Brandon Staley, my old coach at the Chargers, actually explained this to me, and I thought I will never forget this. He showed a picture of a field and then circled down the field, like 20 yards down the field. He's like, if you can get the ball down here, you will get paid very well in this league, right? If you can get the ball down the field, explosive plays, you will get paid very well in this league. So who does that refer to? That's receivers, that's quarterbacks, that's some of the tight ends, some running backs, not all, but like, if you can get the ball down there, have explosive plays, you will get paid well. If you can defend the ball from getting down here, you will get paid very well. Who is that? That's corners. That's DNs getting to the quarterback, right? That's safeties. So it's like all these perimeter players, because if you have explosive plays, you increase your odds of winning the games substantially. The more consistent explosive plays, especially now when we're starting at the 35-yard line. One explosive play, we're kicking a field goal already. And so that's what you're going to see. That's where you see the contracts start to come down, was when you start to get more in the box area, right? You get more in the box area, the O-line, the interior D-line, linebackers, running backs, tight ends. They're kind of in this middle of the pack when it comes to contract heights, because of the explosive play factor. If you can get it down there, if you're a player, you might be a running back that can get it down there. Saquon, Christian, things like that. You might get paid like a receiver. Probably not receiver money, because it's going to be tough, right? You're going to average 4 yards a carry, 10 yards a reception type of thing. So that's where you see that. That's how I understand it. And I think it makes perfect sense, and I see that play itself out every single year, and it just makes sense.
Yeah, we saw it this offseason. I mean, Alec Pierce got paid $100 million on his contract, and it's not a guy that you look and see, he's got these crazy stats, but, you watch the film and you see him always catching the ball on like a 60-yard pass and stuff in the end zone. He's such a deep threat that that makes sense fully. So,
yep. The more players that you can have on your team that can give you a chance to have a 15-plus yard play, golden. Those guys are valued very high, because they're rare. It's rare for a guy to be a little bit consistent in that category. If you're even like a 50-50 ball guy, that's like, wow, this is elite talent. And it drops off really quick. So that's why you see kind of a drop off. But the thing is, for the receivers, especially, the top of the market pulls up the rest of the market too. So you might be a mid guy, but still you're in that 10, 12 catch range. You're consistent. You can be relied on. You can block. You're going to get paid like that. That's just the market. And that's why you see receivers, corners, D-line, quarterbacks getting paid what they're getting paid, because they get the ball down the field or defend that.
A lot of new jerseys coming out in the NFL. Some small changes, some big changes. Your Commanders, new jerseys. What are you thinking about those? They look new logo too. They're putting the spear through the W. I mean, these jerseys, I'm not gonna lie, these look pretty clean. All nice.
Absolutely. Hey, you never know what you're gonna get when there's a jersey change, but I'm agreeing with you. I think the colors pop. I think it really exemplifies the crimson kind of color and that gold. I think I saw some memes though about the logo, because does the arrow not is the physics of the arrow not what it's supposed to be? But
yeah, they're trying to figure out where it goes in between, and I think there was just conversations about if it does, and then someone thought they found that it does, and then they found out, wait, no, it doesn't. It's just so much talk about, they released these new jerseys and they released this new logo, and all people care about is if it makes sense if
Right.
the
They're like,
spear can
wait,
actually
what
fit.
about the physics of the logo? Does the arrow go this way or that way? You know, I mean, look, we're all going to complain about something and nitpick because people care about this stuff, right? What really matters is the colors look good, the jerseys look good, the logo. I thought when the Rams changed their logo to whatever they got right now, it looked like a news station. No one's talking about that later on, right? They even changed their logo. I think it's like all yellow or something like that, or maybe that was a
Yeah,
meme
I
I
think it's
saw.
just yellow, and then they changed their numbers on their jerseys just slightly. And they're like, oh, we got a new look. I'm like, it's the same look.
At the end of the day, as long as you look good out there and you can, feel good about your team's colors and what they look like, that's all that matters.
Exactly. And kind of branching off that, just with the new jerseys and stuff we've seen, I mean, whew, I think it's been almost 5 or 6 new teams that have gotten full jerseys redone and everything. A few years ago, they changed where you could pick your number too, with all different stuff. It just seems like the NFL's evolving from all that stuff. I want to know what you think about switching over to more like the college style where you can see a receiver wearing a single digit number.
Well, the thing is, in college, it was really easy to tell who was who because if you're a D lineman, you're wearing like 90 something, 50 something. And now you might be wearing number 0 or number 7. And I'm used to that being safety or a corner. Now I got to know people's number a little bit more. Like if you're like a backup and I might not have a big scouting report on you, I got to make sure I know your number now because if you're a weird number, I got to know if you're linebacker, safety, what type of body are you? So that was definitely something I had to get used to. Now, I mean, the guys that come in, they're so used to it because it's just been what it is. They weren't in the old system. So I wasn't a big fan of it at the time, but now at this point, after kind of going through some scouting reports, it is what it's fine. You get used to it. It's just a little bit more time in the studying room, but it is what it is. And then I remember my jersey, I actually wore number 3. They gave me number 3 in my OTAs. And at that time, running backs couldn't wear number 3. So that's how I knew they were kind of just keeping me as a camp body. Like, good luck, kid. We'll see if this guy makes it. And then I ended up going to my high school number 30, because that was available. So something about jerseys when you come into the NFL, now there's a lot more selection because you can be pretty much any number you want to be. But before, you'd have like a range. And so my position, there was like 47, right? Like I've never seen a running back wear 47. That's just a disgusting number. Like these weird numbers were available. And then my old high school number was available, which was number 30. And so that's why I ended up going with number 30 my rookie year.
Yeah. And it's almost tactical how they can choose, oh, we're going to have this player wear a lower number, or even like maybe you have a safety as number 7 and, a linebacker is number 1 and it looks similar. So there's all these tactical things you can do with it now.
For a lot of the rules, they're really strict on, like the socks. Like if your socks below your knee for a play and they warn you about it and then tell you about it and you don't do anything about it, then it's like $6,000 fine for having a sock down or having the wrong socks. Or if you have an undershirt showing, it's another $6,000 per play type of thing. And so it's like, man, like relax. These are subtle things that don't really change the way of the look. So I'm glad that at least they let us wear, certain numbers that we want to wear. Maybe some of the old school people might bother them a little bit, but hey, I think it's good for the customization. Let the player be what the player wants to be.
Goes into that celebrating too. They're cracking down on. It seemed like they liked it for a few years, and then boom, back to you ain't celebrating anymore.
I don't blame them. Look, there's rules and there's lines. And when we're crossing lines, you can't do any weapons or anything like that. Like, we cannot be spreading that type of stuff out there. So there's lines to continue to keep the game a very neutral, fun environment that's not crossing any of these kind of violent things that are outside of the game, kind of tactics or politics or anything like that. So you got to have rules. Absolutely. I think even this last year, if you did a first down signal and you did like a finger gun, that was a fine. I remember Jeremy McNichols, he scored a touchdown, and he did the tiniest little bow and arrow you've ever seen. Like this, like, bloop, fine. Like they were not playing. When they meant no weapons, they meant no weapons. So now it was like this, right? Don't put your thumb up, thumb down. $6,000 fine. Oh, you're good there. Crazy.
Insane stuff. Yeah. Okay, so, with crossing the line, where is that line then with kind of those pregame outfits that people wear, where you're not going to see any fines for that and they kind of let you go? But at what point does it get almost distracting sometimes when people show up in the most insane things?
Yeah, I think when it comes to the fashion, if you have someone who's really into fashion, eventually they're going to come with something that's over the top. You're just expecting that. There's people that have designers and things like that. This is a moment for us to get our picture walking in before we go into the arena. So it's like a really cool moment to capture. You want to be feeling good going in there so you can get the good pictures after, all of that stuff. When you leave, you're looking good as well. Is there a line? Yes, in my eyes, but that's because I have probably limited fashion. Some of these guys, man, I've seen some crazy stuff. I think Joshua Palmer was a guy who wore a ton of fashionable clothes. For me, I was probably on the other side of the line of not enough my rookie year. Like, I'm wearing stuff that I used to have back in college, like a button up and some jeans. Maybe the shirt's got like a stain on it still from like a party or something. I don't know. And then finally, I met my wife, and my style increased dramatically. So shout out to my wife for being my designer.
I think you mentioned having a bet earlier about some other things. I think one of the bets should be that I get to choose your pregame outfit. I think that should be for this coming year. You know, I need to get in there. I feel like I could style you up. I feel like I could put your name in some headlines too.
You know, that sounds like a great thing, but you have to talk to my designer who takes it very seriously. My wife, she knows one of the social media people for the NFL channel. It's the NFL like outfit channel. And she knows him, and he compliments her on the outfits that she picks for me. So she takes it very seriously. So I don't know if I can put that one up on for a bet.
All right. And it doesn't even stop at the like actual players. Some of the older people who end up going after they're done playing, you know, they go into media and stuff, and they're still wearing some of those outfits. And we've seen it a bunch of times in the NFL, but this weekend we saw it go a little crazy with PK Subban and these pants he was wearing. He was the talk of Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, everything with these pants that he was wearing. I mean, it gets to a point that it's just crazy. And this is insane what he's wearing here.
I don't even know how to describe this. I'm looking at this picture, man. This man's pants are up to his belly button. Those things are height. Is he in high heels? Because it makes his legs look so long. I feel like my wife would like this because she likes the long leg look, you know, something like that. That would like make her feel like, oh, look, I got long legs. She'd be in some heels, you know, maybe showing some of the ankle, something like that. This, I've never seen. This is like enough material to make like 2 other pairs of jeans. Maybe those are pants. I'm not sure. But for me, look, like I said, I stay in my lane of my style. I feel like this is more of a let me make a statement that's different as opposed to I actually think this looks good. Maybe he does think it looks good. I don't know. I've actually looked him up, PK, a little bit, and it seems like he has a lot of style all over when it comes to hats, suits, full tailored. So this doesn't surprise me if he's that type of person that he wears something outrageous like this.
Yeah, it almost looks like, you know, when they have the clown and they're on the stilts and stuff and they got the long things. It looks like he's hiding stilts in there, you know. But no, I think when I saw people talking about it, I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be insane. And then I looked it up. I think this is relatively tame for what kind of I've expected when it comes to athlete outfits. I mean, we saw Mac Hollins just wearing no shoes, straight bare feet coming into football games in the winter in January. This is tame for what I'm expecting from athletes. So I don't mind it. It's a little wide, but you know.
I'm curious, what would you wear? What would you wear to game day? What's Riley's game day fit, head to toe? What are you rocking?
You know, I think we're just gonna do something calm, like a pair of wide pleated pants. We can do like just a nice button down, you know, nothing too crazy. Then a jacket over it, you know, the shoes. I don't think the shoes matter too much. We can do just a nice pair of.
The shoes don't matter too much. Oh man,
I gotta get
you my designer.
No. You're missing the point. You're missing the point. I'm saying the outfit. You know, you gotta have a nice chain on, like a big chain. You gotta have something big. You got to have a nice watch, too. You got to have those focus points. Your eyes go right to the chain or the watch. You know, you got to have a statement as the shoes. Gotcha. It shouldn't be the main focus, but you should have something.
All right, maybe
nice
in one of these episodes, we're going to have to do a comparable game day fit, and we'll see what you got. We'll see what I got, and then we'll see what everyone thinks. Who's better?
All right. We can do that, and you can lose.
Sounds like we got a lot of competition coming up here in the near future. But, Riley, that's all the time we have for this episode. I cannot wait to whoop your butt in a fashion show off. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Make sure to check out our contest at fantasyroyale.fun. We have free-to-play contest coming up for the NFL season. We also have a new app that's coming out if you want to check us out. Right now, we're in a building period. If you get all the way to this point in this episode, we really appreciate your support. We're going to be having more episodes, hopefully every single week, continuing to get better. Again, we are Fantasy Royale, free-to-play contest at fantasyroyale.fun. We have a lot of contests coming up and a lot of just different fun activities that you can get involved with. Great prizes as well. I hope you're looking forward to it. Wrap it. Cut it. Cut it.